Great. Well, welcome everyone. As I was saying, the presentation will be recorded and uploaded to our website for your future reference. And it's approximately 20 minutes long today. It's not very long. And if you have any questions, please put them into the chat at the end, and I will answer once we're done. And with that, I'm being my last person here, and we can get started. The Fundmatch webinar today is on our shipping of samples, freight, and giveaways. That's just to remind everyone. And the agenda today is the WSATA mission, the Fundmatch process, freight, shipping of samples, and the giveaway reimbursement, claim submission, and our wrap-up. We always like to start out with the WSATA mission, which is our mission is to increase international growth of Western agribusinesses by providing financial support, export readiness, and business development services. Our vision by 2033 is that Western agribusinesses thrive in world markets. And let's just get right into it, the Fundmatch process. To qualify for reimbursement, your company must be contracted with Fundmatch. So the first step is to reach out to your assigned engagement executive, who's responsible for your WSATA journey with Fundmatch. If you do not know who that is, just send an email to fundmatch@wasata.org, and you'll be directed to your assigned executive. Next, submit your application online at your WSATA dashboard. There's a couple fees involved. One is the $300 application fee, and this fee will increase to $350 after January 1 of 2025. So if possible, apply now for your 2025 activities and save a bit on that cost. Once the application is submitted, our Fundmatch manager, Justin Riggs, he will review the application, and it should result in a contract that will be signed electronically. In addition, there will be an invoice with the 6% allocation fee that'll be paid towards the funding. I want to remind everybody that if you have intentions on doing some of the early in the year activities for January, February of 2025, like Winter Fancy Food or Gulf Food or Expo West, you may want to be sure that your application is completed, everything's signed off on prior to that event. There's actually quite a bit of preparation that goes with those shows. So if you haven't done it already, begin that process and we can get you in. Once the application is finalized, you're set to conduct your activities for reimbursement. So when the activity is completed, you can submit your claim online as well, like you do your application. You compile your documentation on your lap or desktop, and those documents will be used to upload to your claim for all of your individual expenses. Once you've clicked submit on your claims, our claims department will take it and get it processed for you. Your engagement executive will step in and help you if you need any assistance in that process as well. Once the claim is approved, it's set for reimbursement. And I always like to remind folks, we have the ACH payments now for direct deposit. They're available at our website. The documents are available at our website, and it does eliminate some of the time that it takes to get reimbursement. So absolutely check that out. Next, our origin statement. We've talked about this a lot in our previous webinars. An eligible U.S. origin statement is required in all international activities. And on page 6 of the guide, this chart indicates the acceptable origin statement examples. Product of the USA, product of America, grown in the USA, or grown in America, made in the USA, or made in America. And if you want to use your state name, it must be spelled out, product of California, grown in Oregon, or made in Montana. And as always, if you ever have questions with regard how to use the origin statement, what to use it in during any of your campaigns or your trade shows, contact your engagement executive and they'll guide you in that process. Freight and shipping. So the shipping of samples and promotional materials are a pretty common reimbursement for our international clients and customers. The eligible expenses are shipping of samples, materials, and equipment to and from an eligible promotional activity on a commercial carrier, or shipping of samples and promotional materials to potential international customers on a commercial carrier. Now, some of the ineligible expenses are shipping of your actual product or your product orders, cost of a rental vehicle to transport the product, and baggage fees to transfer the samples. And I always like to remind folks, be sure that you have your country market put into your application and approved prior to your activity. And if you ever have any questions, contact that engagement executive and they can walk you through that. The types of claim documentation that you'll need will be an invoice, a completed invoice, your proof of payment, and the list of samples or items shipped, like on your manifest. And remember that, sample shipments are potentially just small in nature. If we receive an invoice that, shows a lot more than what we would expect, we may request additional information for that. And if you need a reference for that, it's on page 27 of the guide. Next items, the giveaways. Giveaways such as keychains, pens, shirts, hats. Those are very popular in our promotional items. They are eligible up to $4 per item, and then we reimburse at 50%, which would be a $2 maximum on that. Product sample must be significantly smaller than the quantity or size of an actual product. And since giveaways are small in nature, the origin statement is not required on each of these giveaways. However, the brand name is required, not the company name if the company is different. So always remember that your brand name must be put on it. And an example of a giveaway item, if it's $4 per hat, we would reimburse at $2 if eligible. Giveaways, ineligible expenses are giveaways that do not promote your brand. Giveaways that are tied to a purchase or product or associated with a coupon or price reduction. Giveaways that promote the company name, but not the brand name. And if the two are different, keep that in mind. Cost of product is not eligible. And of course, if you have a giveaway that's over $4 per item, we will simply reimburse to that maximum. Now, some of the claims documentation you'll need is really similar. You'll need to have a completed invoice, your proof of payment, and the samples of the material or a clear photo of the giveaway. With this, if there may be a time or two where we may request the actual giveaway. However, since we're all online claims now, we tried to avoid that as much as possible. So just make sure those photos are clear when you send them in. Now, some claims submission information and some tips for success. Prior to your activity, sign on to your WSATA account and verify that the country market for your activity is listed and approved, and also that the products exhibited at the activity are approved and on your product list. Any updates or changes must be submitted online and approved prior to your event. And I always like to let you know that, if you have like a question, or maybe it's not something that you're absolutely going to do or decided on, make sure to just give us a call and we can kind of help you make those plans. When ready to submit your claim, save some time, upload your documents onto your computer or laptop, and that will really help your process for the online submission. Oh, also total your expenditures. You'll need the number on that first screen of your claim detail. So make sure you have that number ready. And this is how the screens look on the online claim submission. You'll log into your dashboard and select Fundmatch program. And at the second step, you'll see that there's a claims tile. When you click on that, it shows that that's the claims project, and that you click on the orange Start Claim button. On that first screen, you'll select the country and your promoted products. Products promoted but not approved on the list may result in prorating the reimbursement, so always be careful of that. Expenditures. You'll include what was paid, the total. Travel expenses don't apply to this particular activity, but you may do some that do. Then, of course, the next button will turn green when it has all the acceptable information, and you just click next through each screen as you enter your invoices, and eventually you'll end up at submit. Now, once you hit submit, your claims will go into processing. And if you have claims issues, or say you have a question when you're entering your claim, feel free to contact our office, contact your engagement executive, and they'll assist you through that. We're on our way to our wrap up. And here are some tips for success. There are many ways to access resources and support at WSATA and the Fundmatch program. The first thing is to schedule that consult with your engagement executive. Remember to send the email to fundmatch@wasata.org if you need to be connected. Next is become really familiar with the Fundmatch guide that's found on the website under Fundmatch guide, and I definitely recommend to get really familiar with each aspect of that guide. Also, review example claims and the tutorials that are out on the website as well. And those are under programs and resources, and they're easy to find. This particular webinar will be out there as well in a couple of days, and for your use and for your reference. And finally, this concludes our webinar for today. However, hang on if you have questions. We're going to move to the question period here pretty quick. But thank you so much for attending. If you have questions, stay on. If you need to go, we understand. We'll see you at the next webinar. In a couple of days, you'll receive a follow-up email with the slides from today and a link to the presentation. And now, if you give me a few moments, if you put your questions into the chat, we'll move to that. But otherwise, thank you so much for attending. There we are. Okay, does anyone have any questions? No questions today? Oh, we got out easy, no questions?
Looks like we got somebody typing there, Diana.
Yep, we do.